No, hey, it's been a while since we last meet. I don't know where to start, but I start somehow. If you don't understand what I'm saying, turn off the subtitles and your problem will be solved. Let's get started. As I've been in recent days, there have been quite few posts about how isolated the Sparta remix community has become, with close group forming and the community no longer sticking together. However, that's not what I want to talk about, because I'm not really part of the community. I'm just a listener at the moment. Instead, I like to expand on my previous video, because I didn't go into enough detail and just gave a simple answer. So that's what I'm going to do now. As a first topic, I would like to tell you how I got to know this gender. When Sonic.exe, I don't know what proposed it, was still trendy, I was watching Louis Kid and saw this Sparta remix by Epic Remix, aka Hamburger, but at the time I wasn't interested in it at all. I just took it. It was cool. However, in 2016, I started to get interested in it and began making my own remixes. I wouldn't say my first remix was completed, because I made collab part for Russian Sparta remixer, which, as you can imagine, was pretty awful. I think I used the video materials from Pi Animations 5 a.m. at Freddy's the sequel, because I was a big fan of FNAF at the time, although I'm not really anymore. But basically I was already pretty much outed for naming this collab. A lot of people were outraged someone made a remake of my over part, and I already pissed off few people back then, but it didn't really bother me, because I knew I was the beginner. My first actual remix was from the VR part 1 of Cat Mario gameplay, when he said Yeti. I don't understand why I choose that prediction chorus. Even I don't understand it. At the time, I didn't know that the box visuals represent the page, so I put dancing images instant, and that's about it. Unfortunately, I don't remember much about what I did in 2016, because most of my remixes disappeared and I didn't save them, mainly because I didn't have the opportunity to do so. But in 2017, more happened that I could have expanded. At the beginning of the year, I was featured in Gay Views and Taylor Free Rules Sparta Remix collab, where I actually put myself in and started the sexy boy meme, which many people liked, and I saw in a few Sparta remixes. To this day, I'm glad that I had the opportunity to bring joy to a few people at least a couple of times, even if those who organize it have since turned into PowerPoint document files. I saved the day. Thank you very much. It was around this time that I meet Toms, who was just starting out like me, and we talk a lot. I was really happy to have the opportunity to talk like-minded people who were interested in Sparta remixes. I think I talked to the Spartan official, GS 3.4, unofficial studio, and a few other peoples over the years when I was active. Now comes something I haven't really been able to talk about before, but now I can share it with you. When I started high school, I used to film everything, really everything, on my main channel, and then I shared with them that this was that. I used to do in my free time. That was the stupidest thing I ever did, because after a few months they started harassing and praising me. It wasn't a great time for me, and that's when I discovered the Sparta remix, and I was glad at least I could distract myself from that period. Let's go back to 2017, because I started organizing a few collabs, but unfortunately I didn't really manage to publish in dev, namely the 3-6 part preview collab, the 18-part Sparta remix collab, and the Sonic Paradox Delta collab. They weren't complete because I usually set a deadline, and if this wasn't done by then, I would shut down the project. I don't really understand why I did that anymore, because a lot of people work went waste because of my stupidity. Most of the time it was also because we used to share a computer and I was in front of it every 2 days and wanted to get it done faster as soon as possible, so they wouldn't kick me out. A few collabs were ruined just because of the added value I broke to them. In the future I will be more careful so that it doesn't happen again. This year the Hungarian Sparta remix community was 3%, just as it was in 2016. At the time, we talked a lot of with others such as Ananas Pro, Melodriox Star, the Hungarian Sparta, and a few others whose name I don't remember. I mean these usernames. But over the course of a few years, I don't talk to these people much anymore. Most of them have quit and are no longer interested in Sparta remixes. The ones I know are still active are Handeb Leonidas and Bleomar Studios, although he has now deleted all his Sparta remixes for some reason. I don't know why. They weren't as stable as he claimed, but there's a collab planned with them which you'll see when it comes out. I was also part of the active channel deletion brigade because most of that time I didn't feel like I could renew myself, so I deleted it. I remember how it happened. I was at my classmate's place where we were talking and watching videos, and at one point I decided to quit and solve my problem by deleting my channels. Unfortunately, after so many years, I shouldn't have done that. I completely destroyed all my creations and only a few Sparta remixes remained, which I managed to save. I miss many of the remixes I made back then, such as Ananas Pro collab, the Sword Art Online remix, collab parts, and other things I did at the time. I would have been interested in all the remixes I used. There would have been a collab with Tones in the past, but unfortunately I wasn't able to make remix at the time. Then I started another channel which was listed as Magvi Plus or Magvi SR, always with names changed, but I made 2 remixes, one of which was You Damas Sparta remix, which was the last complete remix, and the other was just a joke. Zafio shared the Vegas file because of the Vince meme, and you could make your own version of it. I at least did that. Then I didn't really upload anything else, and yes, that channel was also deleted afterwards because I didn't want viewers to see Ananas Pro re-uploaded remixes at the top. It's true that I got permission to upload it, but I couldn't really call the whole thing fair. Anyway, all the remixes are already available to him, not listed, but you can still find the playlist. And here we are on the current channel where pretty much much everything that was on the previous channel has been uploaded, especially for the Ananas Pro remixes. I have to rebuild everything from scratch, but I don't really care when I'm just doing it for fun. But for some reason I still want to be better than I was years ago. At least I can say that I'm slowly getting back to making Sparta remixes, so I hope you're waiting for me. It's true that I haven't done it for 7 years. I've only used FL Studio occasionally, but I'm going to learn that program in detail because I've been doing that pitches in Vegas so far. But now I'm not going to rush the remixes. I'm going to enjoy doing them. That's all I wanted to say. I hope you have a better understanding of what happened to me behind the scenes, and I hope to get back on track. If you want to talk me, we can chat on Discord, but only privately. You find my username in the description. Take care until then. Hey.